Hello viewers, welcome to this session. I am Dr. Tangjakhombi Akoijam from the School of Tourism and Hospitality Services Management, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Today, I will be taking you through the topic of tourism market and sources of tourism information. Now, the first thing which comes to our mind when we hear the term market is a place where buying and selling takes place, where the sellers are there, the buyers are there, and then interaction between the buyers and the sellers, and then the transaction or the exchange takes place. Money is given, and then the product or the services, whatever they are offering, the sellers are offering, it is given. So to an economist, the collection or the collectives of buyers and sellers together is what they call as market. But to a marketer or a marketing professional, the sellers, they represent the industry, whereas the buyers, they represent the market. So this relationship between the industry and the market has been illustrated by Mr. Philip Kotler, who is a renowned modern day marketing guru, as well as he has many marketing books to his credit. So in this industry, which is the collection of sellers is there, and then they try to communicate as part of the marketing process to the market about the products and the services that they have. And the market in turns, or the buyers, which is the collection of buyers, they buy the goods or the services and money is paid. So once the product or the service is consumed or is used, then the market, the buyers, they give information or feedback, which in turn helps the industry to take steps to improve the features or the characteristics of the goods or the services which they offer. This will help them to be in top competition in the system. Now, to a great extent, this can also be applied to tourism. The principal service suppliers like the hoteliers, the tour operators, the travel agencies, the transport operators, whether they are the airlines or the road transport facilities like coaches or train services, they represent the industry. And this industry, they do various promotional efforts, various marketing efforts. Promotion is just a part of marketing. There are four main elements in that. One is the product, which is based or produced based on the market research, taking into account the needs and the wants of the consumer. And then pricing is there. A price has to be fixed. Then promotion, which is communication. And then the distribution outlet or the distribution channel also has to be identified. So doing all these marketing tools, using all the marketing tools, the industry, they reach out to the market. Now this market consume it and then they give the feedback. So in the tourism sector, when it is not only limited to the tourism sector. So when in this, the idea or the understanding of a market, there are two dimensions. One is market as a place where interaction between the buyers and the seller takes place, and then exchange happens. Now and there is another dimension, market as consumer or as a place where the consumer resides. So you have the existing as well as the potential consumer as the market, and then based on what they want or the needs or their demand is generated and the demand forecast can be done. When we talk about tourism, it falls under that second category. So in tourism, we talk about tourist generating markets, we talk about tourist receiving markets. Just to give you an example, tourists coming from France to India. So France is a tourist generating market for us, or the French people who are coming, they are the market for us, for India. And in this context, we are talking about tourist generating area as a geographical area. So in the same way, we have the tourist receiving market, and in this case, India, in this example, India is the tourist receiving market. Then we have the domestic tourism market, the regional tourism market. Then again, based on the special interest or the purpose with which the tourists travel, we can also have the pilgrim tourism market. Then we have the cultural tourism market, the adventure tourism market, the MICE tourist market. This is important because if you are a tour operator specializing in adventure tours, then your market, where you are going to advertise, where you are going to promote, where you are going to market your service, or where you are going to identify your target market would be the adventure tour market. Right? You will not be going into the pilgrim market. So when you do your research, you will be confined to that target market, because it is not possible for any organization to cater to all the markets in the population. So certain specific markets have to be identified. Then again, based on the budget that you have, you can be a 5-star hotel market is also there, because the type of clients or the consumer which a 5-star market identifies is very different from a budget class hotel. So this is why it is very important. So this has come, we find out that tourism markets, different tourism markets, it reacts in different ways. And they are heterogeneous, not homogeneous at all. And in a way, they do not remain static. Because if you look at existing or potential tourists, they cannot be identical. Their wants or their needs cannot be identical. And with time, it changes also. And with time, circumstances, even the situations, it changes. Today, a tourist might be interested in going for an adventure tour. Maybe somewhere down the line, 2 or 3 months, he might want to go for a pilgrimage tour. So the wants of a tourist is never static. And it is not only an aggregate demand for a product, but it is also the sum of the demands of different market segments. That's why tourism is a multi-sectorial industry. It does not confine to only one product or one market segment. So to be a successful marketer, it becomes imperative to know the market really well. Only then will you be able to give full service, full satisfactory service to the clients that you have identified. So a market consists of all potential customers showing a particular need or want who might be willing and are able to engage in exchange to satisfy need or wants. And the size of the market, what does it depend upon? It largely depends upon the number of persons who exhibit the need, have resources that interest others, and are willing to offer these resources in exchange for what they want. But interestingly, when we talk about tourism market, the reference is always to tourism generating market. But we should also remember that for every segment of the tourism industry, there will be different types of market. A tour operator will have the travel agent who will be selling their tours as a market for them, as well as the tourists who come and directly buy tour packages from them. Whereas if you talk about the tourist transport operator, the market again will consist of tour operators, the travel agents, the hotels who buy their product for consumption by the tourists. And even the tourists nowadays, they book their own tickets, and also tourists themselves are also a market segment for the transport operators. So for a tourism market, apart from the researching the needs and wants of the tourists which you need for developing your product and services, identifying the gaps which is there in the system, and then coming up with a product to satisfy them, the marketer or the tourism marketing professional should have knowledge about the number of tourist arrivals, the revenue generated, the expenditure which is there, and the top tourist destination, etc. All these are equally important. Why it is important is every destination in the world today, they are all going in for tourism as a major revenue generating segment to augment their gross domestic product. And in this scenario, you need to have an overall, a larger picture. You cannot be just confined to the resources or the conditions that you have at that particular destination. You have to look at the bigger picture, and from there the analysis or the research starts. Now, a marketer can access such data and statistics from the publication of various tourism organizations. For example, we have the United Nations World Tourism Organization, which is an international organization, and with so many countries affiliated to it. Then we have the World Tourism and Travel Organization, WTTC, PATA is there, and the National Tourism Organizations, etc. National Tourism Organization is the nodal organization in a country or a destination which makes all the planning and the developmental strategies for the country as a whole, and it also acts as a link or a coordinating body between the public sector, the private sector, and all the other elements of the tourism industry. And now, studying the market trends in a dynamic sector like tourism, it is a very time-consuming, tedious process, because the relevant data needs to be updated constantly. So what the World Tourism Organization or the UNWTO does it divides the whole world into 5 regions: Africa, Americas, Asia and the Pacific, Europe and Middle East. And again, these regions are again subdivided. So in Africa, we have Northern Africa, or the Sub-Saharan Africa. Americas is again divided to Northern America, the Southern America, Central America. So likewise, each of these regions are divided into sub-regions. Now let us see the overall tourist arrivals in the world. I have given 2010 and 2019 so that a comparative figure also comes out, right? So in 2010, there were 952 tourist movement recorded. So, and in 2019, it jumped to 1,461 million. The 1,461 million, it has crossed the 1 billion mark. So this 1 billion mark, we crossed it in 2012. Then Africa has the list in 2010 arrivals 50.4 million, whereas in 2019 it jumped to 71.2 million. Well, Middle East, if you look at the figures in 2010, it has more tourist arrivals, 56.1 than Africa, but in 2019 Africa has taken a lead over it, because Middle East recorded only 63.9 million, where Africa has got 71.2 million. So this is how we deduct from the data which is accumulated. So if you look at it region-wise, Europe has got the maximum number of tourist arrivals. So Europe can be set as the center for tourism activities in the world. They have 742.3 million arrivals. People are coming into Europe. We're followed by the Asia and the Pacific region. India belongs to this category, to this region, and we have next Americas. So let us now look at the receipts, in terms of revenue which is generated. In 2018, because these are the figures which we have, the latest figures which we have got, 1,462 billion US dollar. It is a huge amount. So you can say this is one of the justifying reasons why every country or every destination in the world are joining or looking forward to tourism to be a revenue earner for their destination. So likewise, the pattern is the same. Europe has got the maximum receipt, 570.5 billion, and followed by Asia and Pacific with 442, and the rest comes one after another. Africa, Americas are there, Africa is there. Then a very interesting thing, Africa has got more people, more number of arrivals than Middle East, but if you look at the receipt, 2018 receipt, Africa has a revenue of 38.3 billion, whereas Middle East have got 72.5 billion. So this is a huge increase for Middle East. So now the underlying motive behind every destination's endeavor or their ways of promoting tourism is the revenue it generates. So apart from the number of arrivals, what matters is the amount of money which tourists they spend in a destination. So in this regard, learning or knowing about the current trends in international tourism expenditure and the world's top spenders in tourism will be important. That's why I have brought in this figures. It is from again the UNWTO Barometer January 2020 issue. If you look at this, China has are the maximum spenders. They spend lots of money. And if you look at 2018 figures, 234.8 billion. This we have calculated in terms of euro. Then United States, Germany, United Kingdom, France, Australia, Korea. This is the Republic of Korea, which we know as South Korea. And then Canada is here. So these are the top 8 countries, spenders. They spend money. So it makes sense to market your destination to these countries because the statistics are already there that they actually come and spend in a tourism destination. The Chinese, very surprisingly, they are there at the top. Then, so these are the after Chinese, the Americans, and then the Germans. And again, for a good marketer, it is also essential to know where the tourists are heading or they are likely to head. Now, this will give them a clear picture about what needs to be done to improve their destination chances of attracting more tourists. Why I say is, if you know which are the countries which receive the maximum number of tourists, then you can study why do tourists come there. You will find out the reason, what are the infrastructure that they have, what is peculiar about them which is attracting the tourists. Then you can do a comparative analysis about the destination which a marketer, he or she, is going to represent, and then they can do a SWOT analysis and see where they stand. So this is important. That's why the country with the highest tourist arrivals and the country with the highest tourism receipts. France receives the highest number of tourists. It is 18.4 million in 2018, followed by Spain, United States. China is there in the 4th position. Italy, Turkey, very surprisingly, it's a small country, but the amount of number of tourists it attracts, and it is in the 6th position in the whole world, and Mexico is there in the 7th position. Let us look at the tourism receipts and let's see how the pattern changes. If you look at the previous arrival statistics, United Nations was in the 3rd position. Now, in terms of receipts, it is in the 1st position with 214.5 billion US dollar. Spain is 2nd, France is 3rd position, whereas in terms of arrival, France was in the 1st position and 1st rank. Now, if you look again at the revenue which is generated for in terms of United States and France, it is more than triple times. France with 65 and another United States with 240. So what is required is, when you have to look for the topmost tourism destination in the world, it is not only the arrival which matters, it is also the revenue which is generated. So these 2 parameters should be taken into consideration whenever we are thinking of looking at how popular or how important a destination is. United States, even if it is only in the 3rd position with the revenue that generates, if you add it up for the 2nd, 3rd and 4th together, even it surpasses that, the total expenditure, the total revenue it generates. So you can say the United States is now the most powerful and the most prominent tourism destination in the world. So we come to this conclusion based on the tourist arrival figures as well as the tourism receipt figures. So what I am trying to say is, we need to take into account both the arrival statistics as well as the receipt statistics. Because usually we tend to take only the tourist arrivals. Okay, so many tourists are coming, so they must be earning a lot of revenue. It is not that. The statistics or the ground reality stays, it is different. If you look at the slide again, see Thailand, which is a very small country. India is more than six, if you compare Thailand to India, Thailand is a very small country, but it is already there in terms of revenue generation, 4th rank in the world. Now let us look at some of the Indian tourism statistics. See, way back in 1951, when tourism was not being explored as an area where not much emphasis was given, because India got independence in 1947, so we have more pressing issues at hand. So tourism was not a very prominent area where the focus of the government was there. So we had 16,829, this is not in million, it is just 16,829 tourists recorded who has come to India in 1951. Then again in 1980 we hit the 1 million tourist arrivals with 1.25 million, that was in 1980. So 1980 the country was making some progress, but tourism again has been, now tourism has been identified, but not much emphasis has been given, because it is only in 1982 that we came up with the tourism policy, the first tourism policy of India. It was in 1982, but some progress was being made, and it took us 15 years from 1980 to 1995 to reach the 3rd million. Then the progress was seen, and lots of developmental activities was going on, and in 2004 we hit the 3 billion mark, 3 million tourist arrivals in India. Now what is important here is in 2003 the government of India, Ministry of Tourism, ran the Incredible India campaign. The Incredible India campaign was landmark promotional efforts by the Ministry of Tourism, and it brought India to the international platform with tantalizing and visually appealing videographs and photographs, which showcase the country in all its diversity, in all its splendor, in all its resources which are there. So maybe that also helped. In 2004 it was 3 million. Then it took just 7 years to reach to double the number of arrivals, because we hit the 6 million mark in 2011. Then again in 2017 the 10th million mark was achieved, but it is still a steady progress, not a very high jump, but it is definitely a progress worth noticing and encouraging, and the Ministry of Tourism has been taking a very active part. Let us see how the position of India is in terms of the arrival figures, the comparative. Tourism arrivals worldwide is 1,403 million in 2018. Just to give you a clarification, UNWTO mentioned it as 1,461 million arrivals, whereas in the Indian, this particular slide is from the Ministry of Tourism website, it is 1,403 million. The difference in the figures is each destination or each country has got a different setup or a different system of collecting data. And the United Nations organization, World Tourism Organization, what they do is they collate and they collect it from all the different countries. So, and many a times some countries may not be very proactive, they might not be sending the statistics in time. So this difference in some way or the other are always there. So the tourist arrivals in India was at 10.56 million in 2018. So if you look at the figure, the share of India in an international tourist arrival is just 1.24%. Just 1.24%. See the amount of opportunity, the amount of tremendous possibilities that we have to increase because India is a land where we have almost everything. Now India's rank in the world's tourism arrival as of 2018 is the 25th rank. Now let's go to the receipt and then see how it is. Indian international tourism receipt in 2018 worldwide was 432.9 billion US dollar, whereas the receipt in India was $228.6 billion. Now when you look at this, the share is 1.97%, and the India's ranked in the world tourism receipt is 13th rank. So even if we don't have a very high ranked in terms of arrivals, in terms of receipts, it is okay. With when you have 10 point some millions coming into India, and then you are getting a 13th position with say 28.6 billion, it's not a very sad picture, but more improvements can be done, and more improvements are being done. More infrastructure development and things. The ministry has been quite proactive in this way. So in terms of attraction, like I said, India is a destination which has a strong tourism product. Culture, history, you name it, architecture, beaches, mountains, religion, ethnicity, the diversity that we have. This has always been the traditional pull factor for international tourists. Now, the question comes to mind is, where do the tourists, from where do the tourists come to India? Which country specifically comes to India? This is a very interesting question. Now, if you look at the top 10 source tourism market for India, Bangladesh is in the top position. They send the maximum number of tourists to India, followed by the United States. 10 years before, United Kingdom or UK was the country which sends the maximum number of tourists, maybe because we have the link with them. They left the country only in 1947, so that connection is there, and so they have the nostalgia to come back to the country. So maybe because of that, the United Kingdom for so many years were our chief or the major source of tourism, tourists coming to India. Now the table has turned. It has come onto the third position now. And Sri Lanka also sends a maximum, an equally sizable number of tourists. Canada is there, Australia is there, Malaysia is there, China is there, then Germany in the 9th rank, and Russian Federation in the 10th. So if you look at this, we have Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, which comes under the South Asia region, and they are India's neighbor. Apart from that, if you look at the European countries, then Russia is there, Germany is also there, and the United Kingdom is there. And in terms of the Americans are also coming into India, a high number of them. United States and Canada from the American continent. So let us see the share of foreign tourist arrivals in India. South Asia, 29.40%. This is the part of the Indian subcontinent where we have Sri Lanka is there, Bhutan is there, then Pakistan, then so all these countries. Nepal is there. Western Europe is where Germany, then France, these are the countries. Switzerland, this comes into that. North America, you have United States, Mexico, and Canada. Southeast Asia, you have this is the part of Asia which is bordering the northeastern states of India. So you have Myanmar, Thailand, then Malaysia, then Philippines, Indonesia. So these are the countries, and they contribute about 8.40% of the total tourist arrivals to India. East Asia is there, West Asia, Eastern Europe 4.41%, Australasia 3.39%, Africa with 3.33%, then Central and South America the list with 0.96%, and not classified as certain states or stateless country, we call them, this is 0.10%. Now let us look at some other features of tourist arrivals. The peak season in India is from November to March. This is where the maximum number of tourist arrivals are recorded in the country. If you look at the mode of travel of these foreign tourists coming to India, they prefer or they come by the air mode of transportation, 79.6%, land is 19.6%, and through the sea route is just 0.8%. And gender-wise arrivals, males dominate with 58.6% and female with 41.4%. That's a slight difference in here. And transgender was also recorded 0.01%. Now, if you look at the states, the top state which receives this foreign tourist arrivals, surprisingly, everybody talks about Goa, everybody talks about Delhi, everybody talks about Rajasthan, but Tamil Nadu has got the maximum number of foreign tourist arrivals when it comes to the Indian context. They get a share of 21%, followed by Maharashtra. And Uttar Pradesh, Delhi with 9.5%, Rajasthan 6.13%, West Bengal, Punjab is in the 7th rank, Kerala is there, Bihar and Goa comes at the 10th position. So this is again, and it brings up an interesting picture of so if all the states in the country, they would want to increase their promotional activities, their marketing activities, what the marketer needs to do is they need to study all this. They need to study the profile. They need to study what type of tourists are coming. And say Tamil Nadu has got what is attracting people to Tamil Nadu. If you are an inbound tour operator and you want to increase your share, and you would need to know why they are coming to Tamil Nadu, why to Maharashtra. So when you have a certain statistics in front of you, there are so many interpretations, so many analysis that you can do in order to make a comparative study and then see where your destination stands in that. So we all need information, but what exactly is information? Now, information, it can be defined as facts about something or someone, and that this facts, it should be meaningful and it should have some form of worth to the recipient. If the recipient is not, it is not worth, the news is not worth or the information is worth, then you don't call it as information, it is just data. So information is something much more than data. It is something which should be useful and it should be about something or someone. Now, when you talk about information, for any organization, information is a key to success at any stages, be it at the launching stage or you are trying to make an organization out of for your own, or whether it is the pre-production stage, the production stage, or the product is launched, or even after the post-production stage. So information is required. For example, if you are an entrepreneur and you want to start your own business, so many question comes which needs to be answered, and these answers can only be found if you have adequate information. When you want to start a business, you should also see which type of organization should I go for, whether it should be a sole proprietorship, whether I should go for a partnership form of organization, whether the company form of organization. So these questions are there. And then even if you want to launch a product, so you need to do a market research. Market research is basically you are collecting data and information. So what type of product should I make? And in this, it is also equally to know the wants and the needs of the consumer, but you also need to know whether this type of product which they want are already in the market or not. If they are already in the market, what is the lacuna, what is the drawbacks, of this product, so that you can improve on it. So market research is very important, and this is where from all the information are generated. Then once you have launched a product, then the consumer has bought it and they have started using it. But at the same time, you need feedback from them. Why feedback is important? Because so that you will know what are the drawbacks in the product which I am producing. And today is a very competitive world. And if you have to survive in a competitive world, then obviously you need to be one step ahead. You cannot just rely on past successes or, okay, a product is launched, I'm happy with that. No, you need to improve on it. Because if you are a little laid back, then some other people will always be finding that extra or making the extra effort to be one step ahead of your product, and they can capture the market. So therefore, information is required. So tourism, being a service-based industry centered on creating meaningful and positive experiences for the tourists, it requires a large amount of information on different areas. Now, when you talk about experiences is an intangible. It is intangible. You cannot touch it. You cannot see it. It can only be internalized. It can only be felt. So, and as we have said, tourism product or services is a part of it is the experience. That also positive and meaningful experiences. So when you have to make a service which has experience as an integral part of it, then it becomes mind-blowing. You need to have adequate at the tip of your fingers, you need to have lots of information. So let us try to see what are the type of information that you need so that we can learn about from where this information can be sourced. So if you are a tourist, what does a tourist wants to know? A tourist wants to know about the geographical location, the landscape, the climate, etc. of the destination he or she intends to visit. If I know I'm going to a hill station, then I know that it is going to be cold there. Then obviously when I do my packing, I will be putting in a lot of woolen clothes. So this type of information is required. Then as a tourist, he would also want to know the type of tourism accommodation, the restaurants and the shopping facilities there. Then the accessibility, the availability of scheduled means of transport. If it is a long distance or a long haul transport, then you would want to know what are the types of transportation available, whether airlines will be scheduling their flights. And not only that, the frequency of the flights is also important. If you don't want to travel early in the morning, if a destination has accessibility, lots of accessibility, then it gives you an ample choice. It gives the tourist ample choice to plan their tour itinerary. Then the social custom, culture and other special features of the place is also very important, because when a tourist goes there, he wants to experience something which is unique, which is different from what he already has. So obviously he wants to know the social custom, the culture, and nowadays tour operators also they give a do's and don'ts to the tourists that they are servicing in terms of, because culture and custom is a very sensitive issue. And many a times because of over tourism, the people at the destination, some of them are tired of tourism now, maybe because of the negative impact that it is having on the destination. So even if it brings revenue, it is not only about revenue, it is about the other elements or the other impacts, like the social impact. If somebody comes and then they are not respecting your, your customs or your culture, then obviously the resident will not be happy about it. And who would want derogatory remarks about their culture? Then tourists also wants to know the type of activities and entertainment facility which is being provided or available at the destination. And this is very important for family who are traveling with small kids, because kids, even if you go to a very scenic place, how long will the scenery keep them captivated or keep them motivated? They would always want activities. So this is the information which a tourist needs. So depending upon the type of tours that you are planning to go, depending upon what type of activities, what type of entertainment, so you need a varied type of information. Now, best season to visit, say a destination, a hill destination, people usually goes in summertime. Hot plain area people, they would want to get respite from the heat, so they go to a hill station during the summer. The summer is usually the peak season for the hill station, but many of the hill station which receives snowfall, because snow is one element which captures the imagination of the people, whether young or old. Snow-capped scenery, pristine white, who does not want to see that? So so this hill station with snowing there, they also have equal number of people, tourists visiting their hill station. So the best season to visit A destination may say this is the best season to visit, but according to the tourist, again, it may differ according to what you want. If I want snow to be part of my itinerary, then winter season for the hill, at the hill station will be my best season. If I want to get away from the heat of the place where I reside and go to a cooler place, so summer season will be my best season to visit. But each destination, as a general practice, they have a best season to visit. They advertise it, they make it into their promotional material. Now, because of so many competitive issues gripping it, all destinations are trying to make their destination year-round destination so as to beat the seasonality issues, because tourism, most of it is still in the unorganized sector, especially in India. And peak season, you have ample employment opportunities and revenue generation. But during the lean season, where the tourists don't come, then half of the workforce will be laid off. So how do they feed their families? So this again become a crisis. So every destination, they're trying to prolong or stretch their peak tourist season, and then they are also trying to make it into a year-round destination. But it again depends on the infrastructure that you have, the facility that you have. If the temperature crosses 40 degrees Celsius, and even with AC, because tourists does not come to stay inside a hotel room, which is no doubt the AC is there. They want to venture out, but at 40 degrees Celsius, it will be very difficult. That's why Delhi during summers, they don't receive that much of tourists, and it is a lean season here. Now, the quality of facilities, this is for quality conscious people. If you are paying that much of money and then you're not getting the quality that the tour operators have advertised or the hoteliers have advertised, then it becomes an issue again, and you need to have adequate information so that you have quality or informed decisions can be made. The standard prices that each destination makes or each destination has, so that you can do a comparative study. So a tourist wants to visit a hill station, so he will look into the standard prices of 2 or 3 hill stations and then decides which one is most suitable for the budget that he has. So these are all the types of information which a tourist has. This is just it is not exhaustive. There's so many more. I've just listed out a few of them so that you get an idea of the type of information as a tourist what we need. If you look at the travel trade in terms of tourists, because they're going to service them, they're going to provide a product to them or the service to them. So they would want to know the travel behavior, why they travel, when they travel, the purpose, the motivation, what motivates them, so that you need to take them out from their place of residence and then bring it over to your destination, the frequency of travel, the income patterns, the purchasing power. So based on that, the travel trades, for example, whether it is a tour operator or the travel agency or even the hoteliers, they will plan their marketing strategy. Now, in terms of market, the market trends, which one is the hot popular destination, about the size, the major segment, pilgrim tourists are coming more or cultural tourists are coming more. So these are certain things which they want, the methods of distribution, what my competitor is doing, right? So this is a very important for them, the product type. I am specializing in a product. So in the market, what types of products are there? This we have already discussed before also. The infrastructure and the facility. As a tour operator, I want to make an ambitious tour package. But if the ground reality does not support you, if the infrastructure does not support you, then everything will go waste. Because it is like we have to emphasize here, it is about the positive as well as meaningful experiences of the tourists. If you're not able to give them these meaningful experiences, one time they may buy your tour, next time they will not come to you. So you need repeat visitation, you need repeat customers, you need people who are satisfied, they go and then they tell other people, so that without you, in your absence also, it is publicity for you, right? Then accommodation and transport facility, the unique features of the destination, these are all the informations that a travel trade and the competitors, you need to know what the competitors are doing, right? And then you also need to know how the promotion needs to be done, how the sales need to be done. This is based again on the information that you have in hand. Without the information, you cannot plan anything. So the government involvement in tourism, whether it is a tourism-friendly government, whether the ministry is proactive, and whether the support system is there in terms of maybe loans or subsidies, tax holidays, these are important for them. The foreign exchange rate, the laws and regulations, the applicable, whether you have the tourist police to help or make your clients feel more secure when they come to your destination. So these are again very important information that the travel trade requires to service the people. Now, there's some priorities area where information is vital is you need, like we said, for planning, for management, for promotion, and for forming relationship with customers. If you have information, a database where all your the information about the customer or clients who have already visited you are there, then it becomes easy for you to maintain a relationship. You know their birthday, so you call up on their birthday. They might not be expecting it, so it gives them a special touch. It gives them that you are remembered. They may have visited your hotel 2 years back, but if you wish them on their birthday two years after, so obviously that feeling is there. So this is how you try to form relationship with customer. Now, when you come to the sources of tourism information, you have the government agencies. In India, we have the central and the state government, like the Ministry of Tourism. In each state, there is a Department of Tourism. So this compiles a lot of information. Then the public corporation, like the India Tourism Development Corporation, ITDC. Then we have in railways, the TDC. Then Air India. So these are public corporation which also generates a lot of information. Air India, the type of aircraft that they have, the schedule air routes that they cater to, the fares which is there. If you are a tour operator, you need to know the pricing or the prices for all the airlines. So based on that, you will choose which one is more profitable to you. Private sector, you have the travel agents, the travel tour operators, hotel industry, the private airlines, which gives the information. So these are again sources from where information, if you want to, as a tourist, you want to go for buy a tour package, then tour operators are your source of information. You will be seeing which tour operator is giving me which type of tours, which is what I want. Right. So these are the private airlines. You want to go from one place to another, and then you are checking the airlines website to see whether which one has got the air seat or at the minimum budget, minimum price. So these are information, the sources of information. Then we have NGOs, or the non-governmental organization. In tourism, the non-governmental organization, they play a very important part in the sense they are a critic. They look at the, critically analyze, especially the policies and the programs of the government. So then they're not fault finding. They are just looking for that area which is not implementable, which is having a detrimental effect on the society. So they point it out. Once this is pointed out, then the government can take action. So it is more of a pro-reactive relationship that is there between the government and the non-governmental organization, and it is a very good sign, a very progressive sign when you talk about destination marketing, destination management. So lots of information can be there. If the government has come up with a tourism policy, then you can read the report of the survey which the NGOs have done, and then you can compare it and see, okay, this is the policy which the government has made, these are the lacunas which has been pointed out, so you have an informed decision. Then tourism organizations and associations, we have already discussed about how the World Tourism, UNWTO has accumulated the data, and it is helpful in making decisions. We have World Tourism and Travel Organization. In the same way, we also have IATO, that is the Indian Association of Tour Operators. The TAI is there, PATA, then so many organizations are there, and depending upon that, even FHRAI is there, Federation of Hotel and Restaurant Association of India. So many associations and organizations working in the tourism sector, they also give out a lot of data, statistics and information which will be useful. So these are important sources. Then the print, whether it is the print media or the non-print media is again a very important source of tourism organization. And nowadays internet itself can be studied as a separate and a powerful medium for dispensing information. Nowadays we have information at the click of a button, and in fact we are bombarded with information, and when we are bombarded with information, it becomes difficult. It is almost like you have so many on your plate, so which you don't know which one is the fake news, which one is the real news. So finding sources of information which is authentic is also becoming a problem nowadays with so many sources of tourism information. Now the tourists themselves, see, if you are planning to go to a new destination, you would want to hear from a tourist who has already been to that destination. So his experience will be, the information that you can get out from him will be much more valuable for you than the information which the destination promoters they give out. Because destination promoters, obviously they will give it out in a very glossy way, only the good points. But whereas if you know it from your fellow friends or your relatives or a colleague who has been to that destination and how they have experienced it, so what information that they give to you will be, you feel it will be more authentic and more relatable to you. Whereas you don't know, because if you talk about say a hotel, different rooms are being glossy pictures, they are advertised on the website, but when you go there, the real picture you may not find it as it is. But if you find it out from somebody who has already gone there, then you find it to be much more authentic. So if you look at the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India as a source of information, let us see what are the types of information that they have. As of April 2020, the ministry is running 20 offices within India and 8 offices in the foreign countries. It generates and disseminates tourism related information at various levels, whether it is used for planning, promotion and development. So the official website of the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India is www.tourism.gov.in, and it is a treasure house or a treasure trove of information. All tourism information, at least in India, if you go and access the tourism website of the Ministry of Tourism, you will have ample information whichever is related, be you are a student or a researcher, if you are in the travel trade. And if you look at the main categories which are there, the ministry gives out its information on the role and function, the offices, the office areas and the various divisions it has. Divisions like the marketing and the statistics division is there. Then the IB Bureau, International Bureau division is there. So lots of divisions are there. Then there is information on the tourism, national tourism policy. We have 2 national tourism policies so far. One is in 1982 and another is in 2002. In between, ministry has also come up with in 1992 a tourism action plan. And it's recently in 2015, draft 2015 National Tourism Policy has also been uploaded. Then the details about the tenders and the auctions, the schemes and the guidelines, sustainability parameters. Ministry also conducts a lot of surveys, a lot of reports are generated, and this itself is a very big information for the travel trade. And the annual reports are there, the tourism statistics, whatever we have quoted on, I have shown you in the slides before when you talk about the Indian tourism statistics, it has all been collated or taken from the ministry website. They give yearly statistics yearbook which comes out, and these are huge and important sources of information. So in the private sector, if you look at tour operators, the tourist attractions, boarding and lodging, shopping, they give information on that. Travel agents, so because when tourists goes, they consult travel agents about the routes, the accommodations and the activities at the destination, and for clarifying problematic issues like applying for visa or forex, etc. So these are the types of information that you can expect from when you go to a travel agency. Then, like I said, for NGOs and all, they come up with a different critical analysis study, and for example, I've said it before also, they look into the tourism policies, even state tourism policies, and then they try to find out what needs improvement. And many of the NGOs in India, they also work at the community level, trying to foster the type of tourism which is required in India to have a sustainable and a more progressive negative impactless type of tourism in the country. Media, as you know, all of us are using social media. In fact, today itself through Facebook, I am delivering it. So media is again another source of information, a powerful information. So we can say tourism has become a very crucial ingredient of success in the travel trade and profession, and it is up to each one of us to make sure that we have the authentic information. Thank you so much. This is all I have for today. See you in the next session.